Okay, so today is going to be a review on long division. So if I want to, if I want to do, let's see if I'm in frame. Let's say you were given the question, what if I divide x to the third plus 5x plus 2 all over x to the x minus 3. So how do I do this long division? Okay, so first we want to set it up correctly, and we want to actually rewrite this. I want to rewrite it so I have every power of x. Here I have a power of 3, but I don't have a power of 2. I do have a power of 1, and this one, it's going to be our constant. So I want to rewrite it as x to the third. Since I don't have x to the second power, I can write this as 0 x squared plus 5x plus 2 all over x minus 3. Okay, so here I wrote this because when I do the long division, this is going to help me keep everything in line. Okay, so I want to be able to rewrite this with every power that's starting with the highest to the lowest. Here we don't have to include x to the 4 because we're not heading that way. We're going to be going this way, right? We want to get all the numbers, all the powers in between the highest one that we have and the lowest. And the only one that's in between that is missing is x squared. And to include it but not affect it, right? This is 0. This means when I plug it in, this is 0. It's going to cancel it out. So it's technically not there. But I wrote this as a placeholder. Okay, now that we rewrote it, we can now proceed with long division. So we're going to write x to the third plus 0x squared plus 5x plus 2 inside the divisor, and on the outside we're going to do x minus 3. Okay, so there's different ways of doing this. We went over D, M, S, B. So divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. So when we do the division, we get the first term that we have, and we divide it by the first term of the outside. So let me do it in a different color. So we're going to get the first term here. We're going to divide it by the first term here. X to the third divided by x, we get x squared. So that means x squared is going to go up here. Now we're done with division, and we're going to move on to multiplication. When I multiply, I'm going to multiply x squared times the first term, and we get x to the third. Okay? But we are not done with the multiplication, because I multiplied it with the first term. I also need to multiply with the second one. So x squared times negative 3 is going to be negative 3x squared. And this is the placeholder I was talking about, right? If I didn't have the 0x squared, we would have 5x plus 2, and then we won't be able to subtract straight down. So I want you guys getting in the habit of writing 0x squared when we're doing long division, because there's a lot nicer when we subtract. So now we're done with multiplication. Now we're going to do the subtract. When we subtract, we gotta subtract this one, and then we're gonna subtract this one. But since this has a negative, we're gonna flip it to a positive, right? If I subtract the negative, it becomes a positive. Now we're gonna subtract these down, subtract them. These cancel out. 0 plus 3, we get 3 x squared. Okay, and then I'm gonna bring down the 5x, and it's gonna be a positive 5x. And now we are done with subtraction and subtraction and bring down. Now we're gonna repeat the same thing. We're gonna grab the first term, 3x squared, and then I'm going to divide it by x. We're gonna get one of the x's cancel out, and we get 3x. Okay, this is positive, so we're gonna write positive 3x, and now we're gonna move on to multiplication. 3x times x gives us 3x squared. 3x times negative 3 gives us negative 9x. And now we're going to do subtraction. So we're going to subtract 3x, and we're going to subtract 9x. But since this has a negative, we're going to change it to positive. Right? What do we get? These cancel out, and we get 5 plus 9. What is that? 14? 14x. Okay, bring down this positive 2. Okay, now we do the same thing. Division. We're going to do 14x divided by the first term here, x. And we're going to get 14. So plus 14. And now we're going to multiply. 14 times x, that gives us 14x. 14 times negative 3 gives us, what is that? I don't know. 14 times negative 3 gives us negative 42. Negative 42. Okay, subtracting these, we get negative 14x. This turns to a positive. We get 44. Okay, now once I get to a constant number, once I get a number with no x's, we don't have any x's, this is where we stop. Because if I add anything over here, if I add, let's say, here, or we could try doing the next step, right? We could try to do division. We're gonna get the first term, and then we're gonna bring this down. We're gonna divide x. Nothing cancels out, right? So what is this equal to? Nothing. That's why we stop here. Because if I try to divide it, I'm not going to be able to simplify anything. Like how I did here, like I did here, and here. Right? So this is going to be what we call our remainder. So we're going to write x to the third plus 5x plus 2 over x minus 3. This is going to equal this, what we have on top, x squared plus 3x plus 14 plus our remainder over x minus 3 plus our remainder 44 over x minus 3. Okay, so that was long division, a quick review on long division. Okay, so let's see. So now I want to cover synthetic division. So synthetic division. So synthetic division is another method of dividing polynomials. So we're gonna do the exact same polynomial. That way we know we're doing it correctly. X to the third plus 5x plus 2 over x minus 3. Okay, and then again we're gonna rewrite it with all of the powers of x in between. Here, the only one missing is x squared, so I'm going to write x to the third plus 0 x squared plus 5x plus 2 all over x minus 3. So the way synthetic division works is we want to eliminate all of these steps. We want to do this double minus, this subtract, this subtracting, this division. We want to eliminate this process and make it a little bit simpler. So before we do that, I want you to look at your denominator and I want you to solve it. X minus 3 is equal to 0. We get x equals 3. Okay? So x equals 3. And to do synthetic division, we're going to write 3, whatever we found for our answer. We're going to write 3. And we're going to build a table. We're going to build a table that looks something like this. And here, I'm going to put all of my powers of 3. All my powers of x. So we're going to have x to the third. We are going to have x squared. We're going to have x. And we're going to have our constant. Okay? So, this is my 3 I got from solving the denominator. What I'm going to write here, we're going to write the coefficients of each of our powers of x. Here, what is my coefficient? It's an invisible one, right? We're going to have 1, then we're going to have 0, then we're going to have 5, and then we're going to have 2. So we're going to bring down this one right there. And the idea behind synthetic division is we're changing division into multiplication, right? We want to turn division into multiplication, and this method does that. So the way it works is I grab whatever my number is here by solving the denominator, right? It was 3, so I wrote 3 down here. So 3 times our first number, is going to be equal to 3. And I'm going to write it here. So 3 times 1 gives me 3. Now I'm going to add straight down. We're not gonna do any sign changes. We're just gonna add straight down. 0 plus 3, that gives me 3. Now we're gonna do the same thing. 3 times 3 gives us 9. Adding straight down, we're gonna get 14. Okay? 3 times 14 gives me what? 42. Now we're gonna add straight down. 2 plus 42 gives me 44. Do these numbers look familiar? Do these numbers look familiar? What do you guys think? We have coefficient 1 right there, right? An invisible 1. We have coefficient 3. We have coefficient 14. And then it's 44. So if we started with x cubed, what is the power of x of my first term here? What is the power of x on this one? What is the power of x on this one? And what is this? So here, we started with x to the third. When we go down here, I'm going to write this as a power less. So if this is x to the cube, this is going to be a power less. So we're going to do x squared. Here, x squared, a power less, it's going to be just x. Here, a power less, it's just going to be our constant. And then here, this is going to be my remainder. That's going to be my remainder. So we can rewrite this as x third plus 5x plus 2 over x minus 3 as 1x squared. So 1x squared, 3, which is positive, 3x plus 14 constant, so no x's, and then with a remainder of 14. So remember how we write our remainders? We keep the denominator, x minus 3, and then the remainder just goes on top. Do we get the exact same answers? It looks like we do. Okay, so this is a different way of doing synthetic division. In class, I will be giving you guys 3 problems for you guys to practice as homework, and then we're gonna bring them in, and I'm gonna be collecting it. Okay, so in class, we will go over 3 problems for you to do, both long division and synthetic division. Okay, so for each one of these 3, you're gonna do long division and then synthetic division. Okay,